You might want to get a tube and a half per door. I just used 1 tube per door and it was okay. I also got some polyiso 1-inch thick panels from Lowe's. 2 4x8 panels will easily cover one single garage door. First step on this was to remove the hardware here for the door lock mechanism. That would prevent me from putting the panels in 2 locations right behind the bars there. So I remove those bars, then I have access to all 8 panels. After removing the hardware, I measured the height and the width of one panel. I want it to fit pretty tight. I'm cutting these panels with a razor knife, and the razor knife won't go all the way through the panel in one cut most of the time. After you cut it as deep as you can, then you pick the panel up and break it and use the razor knife on the back side to finish the cut. I test fit my first piece of insulation to make sure that it's a good tight fit. And it may be that you have to do a little bit of trimming to get it to fit just right. I wanted it to wedge in, but I obviously didn't want to break the insulation getting it in. So I had to trim about a 1/2 inch off of one end, and then the panel fit into the door very easily. That gave me the dimensions for all the future panels. After I got the test fit panel out of the way, then I applied my adhesive. I only applied the adhesive to the high spots on the door. The low spots, it wouldn't matter. They're not going to touch that. The insulation's not going to touch the low spots in the door anyway. I allowed the adhesive to set up a little bit, and then I slid in the insulation panel and it stuck to the door. I did the same thing for the other 7 panels in the door. Now, some of the insulation boards were leftovers, and so they would not be full width, and I would have to cut a little piece to fill in the leftover part. It was not a big deal to do that. My panels overall came out to be about 52.5 inches long and 20 inches tall. Your door may vary, but those were the dimensions that I stuck with all 8 panels. And you'll notice with the small filler pieces, I really tried to get them in tight as well so that they would be wedged in. The insulation panels that were behind the door hardware, I had to cut them in half to be able to get them in fairly easily. Once I had those 2 panels in, then it was time to reinstall the hardware and make sure that the door would actually lock and unlock. And there's a fully insulated door. Check it one more time to make sure all the panels are going to stay in place. The door actually does weigh a little bit more. These insulation boards are not that heavy, but they do add a little bit of weight to the door. When you pick it up, you can notice it, and you may have to adjust your lifting springs to help out a little bit more. Thanks for watching. I've got lots more to come.